In 1995, 2 years after the child abuse allegations, the world was yet again waiting for a new Michael Jackson record. An album that would ultimately make or break him.
The release of History did not go down well. It was a greatest hits package combined with a new album, and there are a whole load of stunts which were really derided. For example, Michael Jackson deciding to send a massive statue of himself down the River Thames in London, despite him being still caught up in all of these allegations of child abuse.
And I was on breakfast television that day, and people were talking about this and raving about it. And I said, I don't want to spoil the party, but I'm the only one here who isn't thrilled by this. Because this really indicates a loss of perspective.
The record itself goes to #1 in the UK and around Europe, including Germany. It stayed at #1 for weeks on end. In fact, it was the Christmas #1 of 1995. The album History was back into the top 5 because of this record.
And actually, I always felt like History was probably his most underrated album ever. I mean, some of the songs to come from History are completely iconic. They Don't Really Care About Us, Earth Song.
With Earth Song, there's a demo that was going to go on the Dangerous album, but Michael was such a perfectionist that he just wasn't quite satisfied with it. So when he came back and did it again, he has these really gritty, this kind of gritty shout, that he's doing against, the choir would come in, what about us? And then he would come in, with this kind of shout instead of the cry, the falsetto cry. So there's just these kind of subtle changes that would take place that, in a lot of cases made the song better, but it took years.
The Earth Song video really was something quite powerful. It had quite an impact. I mean, Michael didn't pull any punches with this video, and of course, the last 2 minutes of the video show the Earth being reversed back to goodness, trees going back up, and the sun shining, and ultimately, Michael Jackson looking like the savior.
So then the second single came along, and it was You Are Not Alone, and it was a real Michael Jackson ballad in the true sense of the word. And it did become a huge hit for him, I guess really against all odds, because the music video was incredibly strange. I mean, it featured Michael Jackson almost naked under the sheets with his wife, Lisa Marie Presley. And it was a very odd music video.
And this is the moment that sends the History album racing up to #1 and went on to sell over 20 million copies worldwide.